All right, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom to the elect, those that are fighting to endure to the end, and that are calling the names of the Heavenly Father in all truth and sincerity, which are Yahweh, which is the name of the Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Wah, and Yahweh Shai, which is the name of the only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, a so-called black man, which in the Paleo-Hebrew means He is our salvation. All right? And we're going to get into the end can't come soon enough. All right? The end of this man's kingdom cannot come soon enough. All right? Because you see Jake going off more and more as we get closer to the end. All right? You got one person saying that they don't even want to eat the bitter herbs. All right? You got one person that's claiming during the Passover that they're going to substitute the bitter herbs for something more sweeter for their palate. All right? When it tells us in, what does it tell us? Let's go there. I believe it's Psalms 34:3. One second. Psalms 30. Give me 1 second to look it up. Because, yeah, you got to be able to eat the whole thing, man. The Passover is just more than just eating the bread, the unleavened bread, okay? Because now we're in the Feast of Unleavened Bread, all right? Where you're supposed to be taking out all the leaven from up out of your house, you know, which also represents your spiritual body, man, all right? Because you're supposed to be examining yourself on a daily basis, and in doing so, removing that leaven, okay? Because a little leaven lumpeth the whole, all right? All you got to do is have a little leaven, and your whole body's going to be destroyed, man. So you got to really examine yourself, all right? And part of the Passover is not only just eating the unleavened bread and the lamb and drinking of the wine, but also the bitter herb, okay? And like I said, you got an individual that don't want to eat that bitter herb. Let's see if we can get that in, let me see. Because along with eating that bitter herb comes understanding of the word, all right? All right, it was Job 34. Salakia. Let's jump back to Job, chapter 34. And let's read verse 3. This is Job 34 and 3. It says, "For the ear trieth words as the mouth tasteth meat." All right. So you have to be able to eat that and taste that bitter herb in order for you to get the whole truth, man. You can't just eat partial or part of the Passover. You got to partake in the whole thing. All right. And part of that is eating the bitter herbs. All right. So you see, Jake, they claim they want the end to come, but they're not willing to sacrifice for this end. Okay. Because you have to be willing to eat that bitter herb. All right. That horseradish. All right. Because although it's bitter and it has a unpleasant taste, it's for your benefit. All right. It's for your benefit because you see, that's what these Christians preach. They preach prosperity. They preach, that Jesus loves everybody. They don't eat the bitter herb, the whole truth. All right. They preach part of it. And the part that they do preach, they go off, man. So you're supposed to separate yourself between the unclean and the clean. Okay. So let's read that again. This is the book of Job, chapter 34 and 3. It reads, "For the ear trieth words, as the mouth tasteth meat." Right. Okay. And your ears, they supposed to be able to discern from who's being up forth and speaking the truth and who isn't, just like your mouth. Okay. Your mouth, your palate, it can taste what's good and what's not. All right. So in the same regards, we have to be able to eat the whole roll, man. We have to be able to eat this whole truth. And part of it is the bitter herbs, all right? Let's go there in Revelation 10. Because if you don't eat the bitter herb, you can't partake in the Passover. If you don't eat the bitter herb, you will not be able to partake in the Passover, all right? Which when Yahweh sends the death angel to pass over you, okay? Because you have to eat the Passover worthily. This is Revelation 10 and verse 10. It reads, "And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter." You see? So part of this Bible is eating the what? Bitter herb, okay? You have to eat it and consume it in its whole entirety. You can't just nitpick things that you want to talk about or things that you want to build your doctrine around. You have to go into it and really eat it, whether it's pleasant or not, man. All right? And as Yahweh Shai said, I come in the volume of the book. Well, the book entails everything. Prophecy, history, heritage, and it entails everything, okay? So a lot of these groups, quote unquote camps, they don't want to talk about the bitter herb, all right? And that's part of the Passover, eating that bitter herb. That's why today's lesson is the end cannot come soon enough, because we see it in these last days that what? The men that are so-called quote unquote set up to be your leaders, not leading you to the promised land per se. They leading you to the slaughterhouse. All right, and we understand because why? The Most High has given them the eyesight to discern. All right, and they're taking this time, this moment to mislead the congregation, the flock, to be what? To be slaughtered. All right. As it says in Jeremiah 3 and 15, I have given you pastors according to my heart, all right? And those pastors, those preachers, those prophets are going to eat the bitter herb, okay? Let's go there, Jeremiah 3. And 15. This is Jeremiah 3 and verse 15. It reads, Jeremiah 3:15, and I will give you pastors according to my heart. Now you think these pastors that he's going to give you, speaking of Yahweh, you think these servants, these prophets that he's going to give you aren't going to be able to taste or aren't going to be able to handle that bitter herb? No, they're going to be able to handle that bitter herb. Why? Because he's giving you pastors according to his heart. That's going to preach the whole truth, man. And not just what makes them popping per se. You know, because these pastors that we come, these prophets slash pastors that we coming to find out that's been set up is being compromised, all right? In some way, shape, or form. Whether they took the bag outright, whether they're in the process of taking the bag, and the bag just means, you know, the money, okay? Because what could cause someone to not eat the bitter herb and to switch up the doctrine, all right? The love of money, okay? As it says in 1 Timothy 6:10, the love of money is the root of all evil, while some coveted after many have erred. Go there. Because you really have to be able to discern whether or not the person or people you following after is worthy to eat the whole Passover, not just the lamb and the unleavened bread, but the herb along with the wine, okay? See, that herb is what separates. That bitter herb is what separates those that are called from those that are chosen. Okay, it says, for many are called, but few are chosen. The ones that are chosen can stomach and keep down that bitter herb, while those that are called can eat part of the Passover, but they can't eat the whole thing, all right? They can't eat the bitter herb. So this is 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 10. It reads, for the love of money, all right? Because you can use money as a defense, but it says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. Wow, which some coveted after, they have erred from the faith. They can't eat the bitter herb. Why? Because they've coveted after this money, this society, this world, all right? They want to be popular in the eyes of Israel. They want to take something as pure as this word and cut it, mix it with their own opinion. I can eat romaine lettuce as bitter herb. Man, romaine lettuce is not bitter, man. The whole thing of the Passover is to put you in the spirit, okay? You want to be in the spirit of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, all right? So that death angel passes over you, okay? It's symbolic, all right? The Passover is symbolic, all right? The Egypt that we came out, before we came over here to this modern day Egypt, was what? Was synonymous with bondage, okay? We were under slavery. We was under heavy captivity, all right? And when we left the Exodus, we didn't have time to sit down and get the sweetest of the sweetest and wait for the bread to be baked. No, we had to leave in haste, okay? That's why the end can't come soon enough, man, all right? You should be tired of this damn place, man. You should be ready to get the hell up out of here, man. You should be ready to exit the stage left immediately out of Babylon the Great, which is America, all right? That's why here in the United States of America is going to be the greatest deliverance of all. It's going to make when we left out of Egypt the first time look like a walk in the park, man, all right? You're talking about chariots, so-called UFOs that's going to deliver the elect, all right? But you can't be delivered if you can't eat the bitter herb, man, okay? You have to eat of this whole Bible, this whole scroll, man. Because the only way you're going to get delivered is by Yahweh Shai. You're not going to do anything on your own, man. You got other camps / churches that tell you that, well, we're going to be delivered by getting on a ship and selling other parts of the world. That ain't going to help either, man. See, having a keen understanding of prophecy is going to go a long way in your walk in this truth, all right? As it says in Revelation 19, it says the spirit of Yahushua is what? The testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy, all right? That's part of the bitter herbs, man, okay? See, you got Jake that's preaching that prosperity doctrine. The community gonna be saved. We're gonna do community outreach programs and all that, man. When nowhere in the scriptures does it says you going and doing community work is going to be what deliver the people from bondage, Egypt. All right, it tells us, it's plain and simple, preach the word, be instant in season and out of season, all right? And whoever ears that is supposed to fall on will hear it, okay? So this is 1 Timothy 6:10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows, okay? That's why they can't eat the bitter herb. That's why the bitter herb to them is disgusting, okay? That's why the bitter herb to them is not tasteful. Well, when you come into this walk, this truth, you find out that it's not all about you. Matter of fact, it's not about you at all. It's about Yahushua, glorifying him through the Father. Glorifying the Father through him, Salakia, excuse me. See? You got to put off that old man when you come into this walk, man. All right? And a lot of Jake, they play the part, or they try to play the part, but they get exposed one way or another, man. You know? They want to wear fitted hats. You know, they want to, while preaching, okay? They want to wear fitted hats, trying to look cool, trying to look like this world, man. When you're supposed to put off this world, all right? Eat the bitter herb. You see? If you can eat the bitter herb, then guess what? The Most High deals with you, okay? It says, what son has he chastened? Let's see if we can get that in, I believe it's the book of Hebrews. See, because if you can't eat the bitter herb, you ain't worthy, man. You're not worthy of the Passover. Let's get that. That's Hebrews, I believe. Let me look that up. Okay, Hebrews 12. Let's get it. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, and verse 6. It reads, for whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth and scourgeth every son whom he received. Right, so you think you're going to always have it good in this walk? No, you got to be able to roll with the punches. You got to be able to swallow down that bitter herb, man. Okay, that horseradish, you know. You ever go slice up a piece of horseradish and eat it, man, raw. You gotta be able to roll with the punches in this truth, man. All right, that bitter herb is a discerner. All right, that bitter herb is a discerner from who is called and who is chosen, man. Yeah, you can eat the lamb. Yeah, you can eat the unleavened bread. Yeah, you can drink up the wine, but can you eat that bitter herb? All right, that horseradish. All right. And for some, they can't stomach it, man. They can keep everything else in the Passover, but when it comes to that bitter herb, they can't swallow down that bitter herb, man. All right? And hey, I don't even know if I can say that it's an acquired taste. All right, because you can eat that, you know, as much as you want, man, but it still has that pungent kind of strong taste to it. It really doesn't have a taste, but you know it, man. You when you eat it and chew it up, and you gotta stomach it and swallow it, man. It's a testament, okay? That's symbolic to this truth, man. All right, being persecuted. All right, you gotta have thick skin, man. You gotta have thick skin. See, this Bible is spiritual, man. All right, it's spiritual. All right, as it says in Hebrews 4:12, it's sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing to the asunder of souls. Let's go there. We already here in Hebrews. Let's just read it. Hebrews 4 and verse 12. It reads, "For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit." So this word cuts straight down to your spirit, man. All right? And people get offended by it. Okay? See, they can't eat that bitter herb. All right? That's why the end can't come soon enough, man. Because Jake just going on, Jake is just going off and off more and more. Why? Because they can't stomach that bitter herb. All right? For some way, shape, for some reason, they can't stomach it. And we know it's because they're not chosen. All right? See, you got to be chosen to eat that bitter herb, man. All right? You got to be chosen. It says, "And of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart," which is the mind. All right? So you see, it's only so long you can pretend. All right, before you have to eat that bitter herb. All right? And some jakes try to spice it up, put some type of sauce on it. No, man, you're supposed to eat it in its original form, raw, man. Okay? Slice it up, put it in your mouth, chew it, and consume it. All right? But you see, you got so-called preachers and pastors, and even in this walk, those that claim to be leaders, and they won't even eat the bitter herb, man. All right? But this Bible, as we read it, it's a discerner, man. It's that bitter herb where you can pretend and play like you got the truth. You can eat the lamb. You can eat the unleavened bread. You can drink the wine to your congregation, all right? To those that are following you. But then when it comes to that bitter herb, oh, no, I'm going to substitute that bitter herb. I'm going to eat some type of lettuce. I'm going to eat some... Yeah, so back to what we were saying. All right? Hey, it's only so long before you get found out for who you are. Can you stomach that bitter herb? All right? Or is it gonna make you vomit? Okay? That's another thing. You gotta keep that down, man. All right? See, being called is different from being chosen. All right? All of Israel is called to this thing, but only the elect is chosen. Only the elect will be able to stomach and keep down that bitter herb, man, that horseradish. All right? All right? So let's continue that. Hebrews 4 and verse 12. Let's read it again from the top. It says, for the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. You see? So this word, part of this word is bitter. All right? It's going to show whether or not your heart, your true intentions, your mind is truly in this word or not. All right? It's going to cut asunder. That's why some get offended at reproof and being rebuked by the word, man. See? They can't take that bitter herb, man. They can't eat and swallow and hold down that bitter herb. All right? That's why the end can't come soon enough, man. All right? That's why the end cannot come soon enough. Because you got these fake, false prophets, preachers prancing around as head leaders of the nation. Okay? Nah, man. It takes time and season in this truth to keep down that bitter herb. Okay? You shouldn't be so